This is Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams, educator, author, investor, and host of So Talks Money and More. You are invited to start your week with me at 7 a.m. on Mondays, right here at WMPR 90.1 FM or online at WMPR 90.1.
I don't hear anything. I don't.
Thinking it's all must your guide to what this learning is. Blessing my secure breath. Dreams take shape with every insight. Losing assets, life insurance plans. Building for your future with expert hands. Sometimes money more. Losing wealth with knowledge galore. Asset protection plans to grow. Tune in and watch your dreams overflow. From saving today to trust for life. Breaking generational wealth divides. Healthcare directives, banking tips. We're here to help your fortune eclipse. The things days you transfer life. Breaking generational wealth divides. Healthcare directives, banking tips. We're here to help your fortune eclipse. And now it's time to run. So wisdom's your return. Invest, protect, and thrive for sure. Signing off is So Talks Money and More.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, bring that on down. I tell you, I got some help in the studio this morning, but I'm certainly thinking about my co-pilot, Mr. Larry Armstrong. We are wishing you the best this morning. Hello to you, my listening audience, WMPR 90.1 FM, as well as WGDQ 93.1 FM, and my viewing audience. This morning, we are live on both YouTube and Facebook. We are coming to you with another episode of So Talks Money and More. I am your host, Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams, educator, author, and investor, opening minds and closing contracts. I am so noted, and I am so excited and so delighted to be here this second Monday in November. Man, this year is passing quickly. We got some stuff to talk about today, you guys. Now, this is how life does you. You know, Dr. Williams stayed up real late last night trying to get this thing ready today, and thought I was going to go in one direction, but I tell you, it's looking like this government may open back up pretty soon. We're going to talk about what happens when the economy stops moving and people start hurting. We're going to talk about this shutdown, SNAP, and survival, a nation on pause. And we're still going to spin that in. But I need to update you a little bit because according to USA Today, when I logged on and checked in, it looks like the record-breaking U.S. government shutdown is heading for its end. After more than a month of Washington gridlock caused real pain on Main Street. Maybe not on Wall Street, but it's causing those of us on Main Street some real pain. Now, it's welcome news to many in Washington and around the country after the stalemate led to furloughs and firings of hundreds of thousands of federal workers, while millions more Americans were unable to travel, afford food, or send kids to preschool. And of course, as negotiations go, I am sure there are some winners and some losers in that deal. Everybody didn't get or is not going to get everything that they wanted. So more on that to come. So today we are going to look at a little bit of what happens when the people in Washington, our politicians, start politicking and doing what they do, how that really does impact those of us on Main Street. What does that really mean for us? Now, when folks hear the term government shutdown, it sounds like something that is happening in Washington, D.C., but the truth is, it's not just happening in Washington, it's happening in our neighborhoods. During the shutdown, hundreds of thousands of federal workers are furloughed. National parks are closed, passport offices stop processing, and even small town USDA offices that handle housing and farm aid shut down. Now, let's put some numbers to it, because it's one thing to say it, talk about it, but let's make this visual for us. Now, the last shutdown, which was in 2018, during the previous Trump administration, lasted 35 days, which at the time was actually the longest in U.S. history. But we've upped that one. Now, let's just say we've trumped that one. We are currently on day 41 of the shutdown. Now, according to the Congressional Budget Office, it's estimated that that last shutdown cost the U.S. economy $11 billion, with a B, $11 billion, $3 billion of which was permanently lost. Okay, $3 billion permanently lost. More than 800,000 federal employees missed at least one paycheck. Let that sink in, okay? More than 800,000 federal employees missed at least one paycheck. That was last time, okay? Fast forward, here we are, same thing over again, 7 years later. Now, let's connect this to us. What does that mean for us? Black Americans are disproportionately employed by the federal government. In fact, about 18% of the federal workforce is African American, compared to roughly 13% of the total U.S. population. So what does that mean, Dr. Williams? I hear you saying it, but what are you trying to say? That means every shutdown doesn't just stop business. Not in our community. It stalls Black stability. It stalls Black stability. Now, I want you to think about it, because I've heard a lot of back and forth, about SNAP benefits and, whether they should be paused and folks not working and this, that, and the other. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. But I just want you to think about that single mother who works for let's say the VA, for example, or a brother maintaining air traffic control. Even during a shutdown, those people still have to pay rent. They still have to buy groceries, and they still have to get their children to school, but their paychecks are frozen. Family, this isn't just policy we're talking about. It's not just politics. These are people. These are real people with real problems. Now, I want to move on to something that is making waves. I don't know if you've heard about it, but we're going to talk about well, before I go there, let's go over here to this SNAP, okay? Because again, I've heard some back and forth, and folks are lazy and they just own the system and they need to go get a job, and I don't care whether they eat or not. Well, let's talk about SNAP. Let's talk about it. Are for most of us what we know are new as food stamps. Now, according to the USDA, 41 million Americans rely on SNAP. That's nearly 1 in 8 people. Of those 41 million, only 26% are Black. Let me repeat that. 41 million Americans rely on SNAP. which is nearly 1 in 8 people. And of that 41 million, of those, only 26% are Black. Now, I'm going to bring it closer to home. Here in Mississippi, that situation is even more urgent. Over 384,000 Mississippians receive SNAP benefits each month. That's about 13% of the state's population, with an average benefit of $151 per person. $151. Now, I spent about roughly $150 just this weekend shopping for my family of 4. And that was just probably won't even last us a week in groceries. So what I'm understanding is the average benefit, and that's for a whole month, is $151 per person, okay? Of those 384,000 Mississippians who receive SNAP benefits. Now, when those funds are frozen or delayed, we're not talking about skipping a night out on the town, a dinner out. We're talking about missing dinner altogether. Missing dinner altogether. And yes, here's where it gets even dire. You know, tomorrow we are going to be recognizing veterans here in this country. We are recognizing veterans. 1.2 million of our veterans, those who have served our nation, depend on SNAP to feed their families. That's nearly 1 in 12 veterans. Now, during the holidays, you guys, you know, we're coming up shortly on the Thanksgiving holidays. Those delays mean fewer Thanksgiving meals, empty pantries, and parents trying to stretch one loaf of bread or a can of beans to feed their children. Feed their children. I actually read an article yesterday in BuzzFeed. There's a line in there that came from Alexa Lista in this article, where she shared a story of a disabled veteran's family living on $121 in monthly benefits. Now, this wife in the article that she's referring to called it embarrassing in America. Embarrassing that a veteran who has served this nation is living on or having to live on $121 in monthly benefits. So we have to ask ourselves, how can we wave flags for freedom while some of our heroes are standing in food lines? I want that to sink in. How can we wave flags for freedom when some of our heroes are standing in food lines? Now, I want to stop here. Just for a minute to pause and honor our veterans. I want to honor our veterans. To every man and woman who wore that uniform, we thank you. We thank you. To the ones who didn't come home, we remember you. And to the ones who came home wounded, weary, and waiting for a system that moves too slow, we see you. We see you. It's estimated that nearly 33,000 veterans are actually homeless on any given night. And over 1 million of those, as I say, 1.2 million veterans depend on SNAP benefits. These numbers tell us with what parades and proclamations cannot tell us. Honor, it's not enough. We honor them, but that's not enough. Think about it. If we can fund wars, we can fund wellness. We can feed those who served. So with that thought in mind, I need to hear from you this morning. As I say, I kind of got a shift with this possibility that the government may reopen. So I want to know what your thoughts are. If you're listening to me this morning, whether you're checking in on Facebook or if you're checking in on YouTube or listening to me in the listening audience, WNPR or WGDQ. I want to know what your thoughts are. Give me a call here at the station, 601-948-5950. But before you do, I want you to hear one more thing, because there's something that's making waves. And when you call me, I want to hear your thoughts on this. So it appears that President Trump is proposing to give $2,000 to every U.S. citizen who isn't a quote unquote high income earner. And this money is funded by tariff revenue, $2,000. Now let's unpack this. Tariff revenue comes from taxes paid on imported goods, everything from clothes to electronics. Now, on paper, it sounds great. Sounds like a good idea. Take that money and redistribute it to everyday Americans. But here's the catch. Economists warn that tariffs costs are often passed on to consumers, meaning you pay more at the store before you ever get that $2,000. Okay. So, hey, the president is proposing give every American citizen, except for those quote unquote high income earners or the highest income earners, a $2,000. Well, what will it be? Will it be a check in the mail, cash, or will it be a credit? Now, the reports are actually mixed on how the American people would receive that $2,000. Some insiders say it may show up as a tax credit, meaning you wouldn't see the money until you file your taxes. Okay? Now, let's get real. When the average Black household has only $24,000 in median wealth compared to $189,000 for white households, $2,000 won't close that gap. It's a bandage on a bullet wound. So the real question we should ask isn't where's my $2,000? It's why we actually still need emergency checks to survive. So I want to know your thoughts. I think I have some callers waiting this morning. I just want to know what you're thinking about this possibility of the government reopening, or what you think about these $2,000 checks. Let's see. I have a caller on the line. Caller, go ahead.
Good morning, Dr. Williams.
Good morning. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Great.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for enlightening us on the financial things that we didn't know, and the time you spent getting all the information that you are getting now to help us. And I hope we are taking advantage of this information that you've given us. And second, on the shutdown, I know it's difficult and very stressful on us as Americans, but healthcare, when you're talking about taking out millions and millions of people off healthcare, everyone's going to suffer. Hospitals going to close. Emergency room, you might go to the emergency room, might be 2 or 3 days before you see a doctor. Call people that don't have no medical care in their area, they come into the emergency room. So I think, but what I heard this morning, the Democrats have decided to play along. Some of them have. I don't know whether it's a true statement or not.
Well, I think what's happening is, of course, in Congress, you have what's considered moderate Democrats, and then you have people that are considered more progressive. And I think the progressives are the ones that are standing on the wall and basically saying, we're not going to give in on this. We're not going to let up on this issue. But from what I understand, that they have gotten enough moderate Democrats out of the Senate to perhaps reach a compromise. And it's quite unfortunate, as you mentioned, that healthcare is one of those things that we should even be negotiating in this country. Now, I know there are those that will have differing opinions, but the fact is, people say, and I was reading something on social media last night that I saw posted by one of our former mayoral candidates, and I'll just leave it at that, who was is very opinionated on a whole lot of things. And I just put it like that. And I do appreciate him and his willingness to share his opinions. But the reality is, we know that as they say, the Obamacare, as it's like to be called, but it's really the Affordable Care Act, was never perfect from the start. We know that. But the reality is, have we really had anybody, whether it's from the Democratic side or the Republican side, to step up and propose anything that is a better option for all of us? So that's something that we can debate all day long. But the reality is, you're right. And I do appreciate you calling in and expressing that. It's quite unfortunate that at the end of the day, many people are going to either lose their health care, or from what I understand, the costs are going to be so absorbent that people are simply not going to be able to afford it anymore. And that's quite unfortunate. Quite unfortunate.
Yeah. You are true. And one more statement. I was watching a program on TV, and they were talking about the cost of medicine in America was $125. In Japan, it was $25. Get the one in Germany, $45 in Britain. But the same medicine.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just quite unfortunate. We're a very capitalistic society. And so at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether people are dying because they can't afford their medicine, as long as, pharmaceutical companies are making big profits. No?
Right.
That's that.
One more point. When they come to research this medicine and they test 100 people and 10 die, they test a 90% success rate. But you allow 10 lives in this process. They put it on the market. Right.
Again, quite unfortunate that we will sacrifice, or we're willing to sacrifice human life. Well, I thank you for calling in. Thank you for calling in this morning. Yes, sir. And you have and I know that you are a veteran, so I want to be one of the first to say to you, Happy Veterans Day, and we certainly thank you, sir, for your service.
Well, thank you so very much.
Thank you. Have a great day. All right, caller. This morning, for those of you that may just be checking in, you have reached So Talks Money and More. My name is Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams. I am your host this morning. I got another call. I got calls coming on my cell phone, my phone here in the studio. Good morning. Caller, you're on air.
Good morning, Dr. Williams.
Good morning.
I wanted to take an opportunity, first of all, to say thanks for your show. I love listening to it Monday morning. What I wanted to say about the shutdown is, kind of want to bag into this, Dr. Williams, a little bit.
Go ahead.
This has happened twice to us with shutdowns, and it's affecting families, the way we do business, because so many of our culture get unproportionately affected by these shutdowns. Till I think it's also a wake-up call to us, Dr. Williams, where we have to start really thinking about how do we develop our communities internally and what we do internally so that we can push it out externally to what works in our community. Everything we're hearing, ma'am, is showing that we are unproportionately affected 10 times more than any other community. What are we going to, I'm just posing that to you over the radio. We have to start looking internally. We used to borrow sugar from each other, whatever it took. We've got to come back to some of that, because to me, these are signal signs of where we're headed long term, or how people are affected. I hope we don't take this as that's for the last 40 days and then turn around and let status quo happen to us again, and we find ourselves in an even worse situation down the road. Also about the tax credit that you mentioned, I don't know. Again, I see the $2,000 of a way of just washing money and making us feel good, but at the end of the day, we really didn't make anything, ma'am.
But let me ask this question, and this is what anybody else that calls in, I'm gonna make this personal. So, assuming that we are given the $2,000, and as I understand it, is per person. So let's say you have 4 people in your household. That's $8,000 if my math is correct. So what would you, knowing what you know right now, sir, what would you do with that $8,000? How would you use it? Would you stimulate the economy? We know we're coming up on the Thanksgiving, Christmas holidays. Would you go put the money back in the economy? What would you do with it?
As a family and as a community, because of what we've seen, that money would not get put back into the community. That money would be either family emergency funding, or it would be for investment purposes. And when I say investment purposes, don't matter what the account is, but we've got to start having some emergency reserves. And this would be my wake-up call to do that, that I keep something and not spend everything back into the economy. Keep it.
Oh, okay. All right. All right, caller. Well, I thank you so much. And again, I know that you are a veteran as well. And we say to you, from those of us here at WNPR and WGDQ, as well as Soul Talks Money and More, thank you so much for your service. We certainly appreciate you and the sacrifices that you have made and you continue to make for your country and for those of us who so need your services and the things that you have provided for us to have the opportunities that we have. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. You have a great day.
You as well. You as well. All righty. All right. For those of you that are just tuning in, you have reached Soul Talks Money and More. I am your host, Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams. And this morning we are talking about this government shutdown. And hey, in case you have not read or heard the news, it looks like the record-breaking U.S. government shutdown is headed for its end after more than a month of Washington gridlock caused real pain on Main Street. So this morning we're taking calls. I need to hear from the community this morning. I think I have a caller online. Good morning. I think this is my good friend, Miss Lomax. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm great today.
Yes, ma'am.
Look, it's a joy to be on today.
Yes, ma'am.
And to hear the topic that you have today. I have several points. I'll be very short.
Go ahead.
However, one is talking about who will benefit more in Mississippi from the SNAP benefits. Well, if you look at the research, you look at the numbers on papers, the Caucasians going to benefit more from the benefits in Mississippi because their numbers are up high. Some people think the blacks are going to benefit more in Mississippi, which is not true. Okay. Now, number two, as for the vets, that is true. We have vets on the street every day, with and without, which is very sad. So some of us are trying to open homes for the vets to come and live, and so they can know their benefits that they have. Our government is not doing what they should do for the vets. Now, we have vets that have passed on, and their wives are to receive certain benefits, and there's called the GAP Act. We have wives here, veterans that have passed on. They would not honor their GAP application, and I have been working with them, and I know that is true. They are put on the back burner and they are told, we'll get to you. We'll get to you. You are on file. And as for the money that Trump is talking about, this is what some of our people look for when it comes to voting for Trump. When it was time to go to vote, a lot of them were saying, oh, Trump gonna give us money back. Yeah, we want Trump. We want Trump. We're gonna get 2 checks, 3 checks, or whatever. That is sad for us as a people, or people, period, to have voted for him to do nothing for us. If you look at his cabinet, he has no blacks on his cabinet. And all of the people who voted for him should be shamed for what he is doing, what he has said, or whatever concerning Trump RX, or he wants Trump insurance for us to get. When I say us, people, period. He wants the Affordable Act to be thrown out so his name can be there for insurance, that he offers the best insurance, not what President Obama offered us. Now, the Affordable Care Act is for all people. It is there if you can afford it. But when it comes to the Trump Act, or it comes to the Trump insurance, as we see, no one hardly will be able to afford that. And our people need to wake up and think more about what he is not doing for us and make a stand. I don't care what color you are, what race you are. He is not for the middle class people. He is not for the poor people. Until we wake up and see that, we'll be better off mentally, because this little money he's talking about, you might get. Some of us misuse the money so badly until they can't see it. So then they're waiting for another check.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to, and I appreciate you, where you are educating our people concerning money from the government. It's not free money at all. It's not money, good time money, or whatever. Like someone said, they'll put it up for hard times. You might as well. If you get any kind of money, you need to put it up for hard times, because he has 3 years to go or more. You're going to need it.
Okay.
And thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for calling in, Ms. Lomax. We certainly thank you. Now, thank you for those of you that are just tuning in this morning. Of course, as I say, you have reached So Talks Money and More. This morning, Dr. Williams is doing something a little bit differently, because I had planned to come one way this morning, but I woke up and I looked at my phone, and apparently the Republicans and some of the moderate Democrats appear to be working toward a negotiation to reopen the government. So we are talking this morning about what that looks like for us that are on Main Street. And we're also talking about the possibility that there may be some checks going out. Some checks may be going out. I don't know if you've heard about it, but we're talking about it this morning on So Talks Money and More. We are coming up on the half hour, so we've got to take a little break here. But on the other side of the break, please feel free to call in. The phone lines are open. The number here at the studio is 601-948-5950. We would love to hear from you, my viewing audience on YouTube as well as Facebook. We want to hear from you too. Go ahead and type in your thoughts. We will read those on air, but we got to keep this discussion going. So we're going to throw it over to Studio A for a short break, and then on the other side, we're going to come back, and I think I'm going to have a co-host when we come back. So stay tuned.
Tim, the Military Man Henderson, presents the second annual Veterans Meet and Greet Breakfast, Tuesday, November 11th at 8 o'clock a.m. until 11 o'clock a.m. at the Jackson Medical Mall, located 350 West Woodrow Wilson, Jackson, Mississippi, where all veterans in attendance eat free, absolutely free. So y'all come. Vendors can set up for free as well. For more information, 601-899-2327. Again, 601-899-2327. Tim, the Military Man Henderson, presents the second annual Veterans Meet and Greet Breakfast, Tuesday, November 11th at 8 o'clock a.m. at the Jackson Medical Mall, 350 West Woodrow Wilson, Jackson. Tim, the Military Man Henderson, is a proud supporter of WMPR.
All right. right. We're back. You have reached Soul Talks Money and More. I am your host, Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams. This morning, we are talking about the impact of the government shutdown. We're talking SNAP benefits, and hey, we're talking basic survival. What happens when our nation is on pause, when the economy stops moving and people start hurting? In case you were not tuned in the first half of the hour, I just want to give a few stats. According to USDA, 41 million Americans rely on SNAP benefits, which is nearly 1 in 8 people. Of those 41 million, 26% are Black, or shall I put it like this? Only 26% of them are Black. Here in Mississippi, we have about 384,000 Mississippians who receive SNAP benefits each month, which is about 13% of our state's population. And here's the thing, the average SNAP benefit is about $151 per person, $151 per person. What is very concerning to me as well is the number of our veterans that actually depend on SNAP benefits. According to statistics, about 1.2 million veterans depend on SNAP benefits to feed their family. That is those who have served this great nation. 1.2 million veterans. And the monthly benefit, according to one disabled veterans family member, that they were receiving is only $121 per month. So we have some things to consider. As I said, I know there was a lot of chatter on social media about people being lazy and dependent on the system for assistance and this, that, and the other. And everybody's entitled to their opinion. So this morning, we're asking you to call on in and share your opinions. There is no judgment. We're welcoming your opinions. That's what makes us stronger, when we are of different mindsets. So I think I have a caller on air. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well, sweetie. How are you?
I'm all right. Thanks for asking.
Great. What are your thoughts this morning? You have some thoughts you want to share on what we're talking about?
Well, hold on, Miss Pettis, just a second. Dr. Williams, part of what we do is we got these thoughts. Social media, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, X, and all. Everybody is an opinion expert.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but the problem, the void is who is doing the work. And that's where we need to get back to. When we talk about these issues, the food stamp cut, whatever, especially when in the African American community, we need to get back to being able to do and provide for our community. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care about the equality. I was part of the integration. We got to go back, Dr. Williams, to providing a self-sustainability, if we can, if that's a word. If it's not, I'm going to Google it and find out. All right. Miss Petty.
Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning. Good morning.
You're working on a project, and it's a project for veterans. And you're just doing great work anyway. So real brief, without me prolonging it, how old are you?
I am 48.
You're 48 years old, and you've been in business. For several years, right?
Right.
All right. All right. How many employees do you have under you?
130.
130 employees, 40 years old, a Black female. All right. And now you got this passion, this desire, this dream to build a home for veterans, but it's not your hospital type home setting. Why are you so passionate about this particular project?
Oh, the reason why I'm so passionate and my team so passionate about it is due to the fact that we have seen so many homeless veterans, ones that when they fought for America, fought for us, and when they come back home, they have nowhere to live. Their family can't afford a home. So we would like to, try to give them some type of community with a lot of activities for them to enjoy the rest of their lives and enjoy their family. So if you have like, some 3 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, or maybe 1 bedroom, because some, don't have any family anymore, they can live among each other, share stories, and just have a new life for themselves.
Okay. And you found the location, and we won't disclose that, but it is absolutely beautiful. It has a lake on it, the space or whatever, and you got a vision for making this property be a home that would be comfortable, accommodating, but it's not stacked on top of each other. Do you believe that once veterans sign up, go off to war, and come back home, do you believe that we can do better and should do better as a people, as a state, and as a country for our veterans?
Yes, most definitely. I do believe that, we should have some place for them to come home. We calling our we call it like a little Disney World, like a lodge for the veterans. So yes, we do believe they should be able to come somewhere, or have a place to come to that they feel like it's their home, and if they have given up their lives for us, we need to give up something ourselves. If it's our time, or our funds, or whatever it may be.
Okay. All right. And you had a visit with some of our elected officials and agency this past week. Were you encouraged after you sat down? You shared with them your vision, and then they shared with you information. They shared with you opportunities, and more importantly, they shared a little bit of information about some possibility of some funding. And you would not have known this if you would not have been in the room and spaces. How encouraging was that meeting?
Well, first of all, we would like to thank you, of course, for getting us to that table and opening doors for us. And we was very encouraged. They actually gave us news and information that we had no earthly word. We didn't even know it was out there. We didn't know it existed. So yes, we are more than grateful to have their help, and the community help with this project. It's much needed for sure.
All right, hang on a second. Dr. Williams, you got any comments?
Yes, I do. So again, we said earlier, it's one thing when we have parades and, say that we honor those who have served. It's one thing for us to say that, yeah, but it's a whole nother thing for us to actually put things in place, to put the action behind it, to show and say love is an action. It's not just I love you or I thank you. Mm-hmm. What do I do to show you? So, I guess my point is, Mr. Jones, a lot of the comments that people are saying and, talking about people being lazy that's on these SNAP benefits, mm-hmm. I think it's important to know who the recipients of some of these things are, because unless and until you are informed, just because you see, 10 folks that that has a basket full of groceries and you think that that's what is representative of who the recipients of these benefits are, that does not necessarily reflect the whole. And I think we need to get away from that.
All right. Well, I think let me say this. From my experience, Dr. Williams, we need for tables to be set. Mm-hmm. And when you set the table, you bring the people. It's a young lady be on tomorrow morning, named Dr. Liddell. She said it's 3 things you need to solve any problem. The first one is prayer. Mm-hmm. The second one is the right experts at the table. People that know what the issues are, and then bring some solutions. And then the third one is funding. Mm-hmm. Now, we wonderful in the praying circle. I just don't believe nobody on the planet can operate Black folks. I put that out there. All right. Now, then when it comes to the second one, the experts, Dr. Williams, we got some of the most brilliant people that's ever been born on this earth. Now, when it comes down to that funding part, for some reason, Dr. Williams always escape those that really have a passion about doing the work. Mm-hmm. And we need to figure out why that is. We need to figure out why the funding always evades what it is. So now, when you go back and look at where we are now, it's interesting to me. With all of this money floating around out here, the thing that was placed on the weight of tilting, moving Democrats, don't you find it interesting that it was EBTs, SNAP benefits for poor folk?
Whether we eat or not, huh?
Whether you eat or not.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. So we got some work to do, and I think we are in a position now to begin to move forward to do that. All right. Ms. Pettis, and certainly let me say this, I know you're passionate about the veterans, but you're also passionate about employing people and putting people to work. And for you to be a young Black female with businesses spread across this state, my hat's off to you. Not only do you employ people, but you take care of them. And that says a lot for you and your husband and the work that you all are doing. So I look forward to continue to work with you to try to provide, resources, not only for the veterans. I got a call last night, Dr. William. We got a mother and 2 children that need a place to stay. So that's on my agenda today, and we got things to do. Ms. Pettis, I yield to you for your last comments, and thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
All right. Dr. Williams.
All right, we got another call coming in. Call us back. We missed your call. Call us back.
All right, tomorrow morning, 8:00 a.m., Mr. Tim Henderson, the military man, will be hosting the second event at the Medical Mall. And I guarantee you, people, we need to be there and be on time, if you will. Doc, you was talking about the shift. Now, do we have the food stamp back or not?
Well, that's still up for debate, Mr. Jones. I don't think the car has been turned back on yet. I don't think they've been turned back on yet. But again, we woke up this morning and see that the two parties are trying to come to a compromise. Okay, trying to come to a compromise this morning. So we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna hope for the best and just see where we go from here.
Well, I think going from here is going to come down to getting what you said, the boots on the ground and making sure that we take care of our people. What I want to say is I think we need to do a better job. I mean, how many warnings do you need? We went through COVID and we didn't have food on the shelf because of shipment issues. The tariffs were put out there. We knew things was going to get scarce. So the question is, how many warnings do you get before you go back and start figuring out how to provide for your people, your family? And that's where we are in 2025. We're going to have to figure it out. And I keep saying it. I do not care, because when you get my age, it's something that you don't even worry about. We got to go back to work. WRK. Carl, you on there?
Hey, good morning, Brother Jones. Good morning, Dr. Williams. This is Tim Henderson calling in.
Good morning,
How's
sir.
doing this morning?
Very well, thank you. How are you this morning?
Good. I'm listening to you all this morning, and I am enjoying the show. I really am. I just wanted to call in, Brother Jones. I appreciate you making an announcement there. I wanted to call in and just remind people also, join us tomorrow morning at the Jackson Medical Mall. Breakfast will be served. It's a meet and greet, our second annual. We want veterans to get out of the house. We want veterans to meet other veterans. We want veterans to know that they're not forgotten about. We want veterans to know that somebody's going to be there that may be able to answer their questions about their benefits and maybe even give them some information they didn't already have. So tomorrow morning, 8:00, Jackson Medical Mall, breakfast will be served. It is free to veterans. Veterans can come out, have a cup of coffee if that's what they want to do. Come out and share your stories. Come out and share your experiences. Let's get folks out of the house. Please come out and meet other veterans tomorrow. Our second annual meet and greet breakfast for veterans. Come out and have a great time.
Now, Mr. Henderson?
Yes, ma'am.
I hope you've been watching the news. You know it's supposed to be kind of cold in the morning, so make sure that heat is that heat is up and that those grits are hot and that coffee is good and hot.
Well, you know, Lily's they do a phenomenal job every time that we're involved. So I've been working with Miss Tammy over there at Lily's, her and Tim, and Tammy is I mean, Lily's does a phenomenal job. So they're gonna be there tomorrow morning. They're catering. So I know it's gonna be good.
Wonderful, wonderful. And if you're just tuning in this morning, we are inviting you to come out tomorrow. If you know a veteran and you have transportation and can bring the veteran over to the Jackson Medical Mall tomorrow, we are certainly encouraging you to do so. Former mayoral candidate, Mr. Tim Military Man Henderson, is sponsoring a breakfast in honor of our veterans to give them an opportunity to get out and socialize on tomorrow. That begins at 8 a.m. The breakfast lasts until the breakfast lasts. So get on up and get out there if you want to eat. If you're not so much concerned about the food, then you might sleep in a little bit later, but certainly we want you to get out. We, as I understand it, Mr. Henderson, you are planning to have resources available by way of vendors for veterans that may have questions or need services?
Yes, we will. We've actually got confirmation that the VA benefits office will be in attendance tomorrow morning. So they're going to set up a table. We've also got a representative. These are just a couple of folks because we've got a few people that are going to be there with a table set up, but specifically these two. Another gentleman who represents veterans legally for their benefits. We've got a couple of those folks going to be there. So there are going to be people there to help veterans understand if they qualify for benefits. Folks are going to be there to help them make sure they get those benefits. I also want to thank Mr. Primus Wheeler and Miss Erica over at the Jackson Medical Mall and that entire staff. They've been very supportive of this event. They've been making sure we got what we need. They are very pro-veteran as well, and they're doing things yet to make sure that the community is also taken care of. So that entire staff, Mr. Primus Wheeler, Miss Erica, and that entire staff there at the Jackson Medical Mall, they have been very accommodating for this event. And I want to thank them publicly as well and appreciate their support.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we certainly thank you for your service. Certainly, we know that what you've done and what you continue to do, not only for our nation, but to help us have a better community as well. And we thank you, sir, and we honor you as well.
Ms. Dr. Williams, it is my honor to serve.
Thank you, thank you.
You all have a great. Hey, I'm waiting. Hey, look here, just on a side note, I'm waiting to see how this thing gonna shake out.
We all
Senate passed something yesterday saying restore these SNAP benefits, but it's still, is the House even in session?
I don't know where we are.
That Republican been saying that it's on the Democrats, but he hadn't had I don't think he's put the House in session, so you couldn't even have a negotiation on this stuff. So let's see when they bring them back into session.
Yes.
So that they can have this thing. So it still got a lot of work to do. They came up with something in the Senate. It goes to the House now and then back to the president for signature. So this thing ain't over with.
That's true.
Still got a road to hoe.
That's true.
Well, I'm going to leave it alone altogether. I'm going to go back to the veterans event tomorrow.
Mr. Jones said he's not touching that one. He's not going to touch
what's
that.
going to happen is, Mr. Anderson, we'll talk about it on the other side. I've learned at my age, just stay focused on what it is that you got your hands on, all right? And
that's it.
Okay, so let's deal with these veterans tomorrow. Try to get them out, get them connected to some resources. Because Tim, I was down, and I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna show it to Dr. Williams. It's one thing when we talk about thank you for your service, right? Mm-hmm. I want you to see where he lived. Mm-hmm. Now, describe to our listeners. Just give them your opinion, your eyes. What are your eyes looking at?
This looks like some type of encampment near the woods.
Okay.
I see a vehicle. Does he live in his vehicle?
they got an encampment. The vehicle is just there. All right. So yesterday, Mr. Henderson, I know what this area is in Jackson. So I went by to see, with the weather change, how are they going to survive? And they had started to build fires and gather firewood. But our veterans are our people in 2025. When we're taking care of other countries, our people should not be living like they're living in the city. And I'm beginning to get concerned about the conscience of our people that's in certain positions. So, you know, again, a lot going on in the world. Mr. Henderson, the time and it would be good if they come in the medical, not the medical, but the Piccadilly side of the mall, or which side of the mall?
It doesn't matter. We're going to be in the community room tomorrow. So whatever direction they come in, they'll be able to get there. And just come on in tomorrow. We'll make sure you get to where you're going. Somebody will be able to tell you where to go. We'll be there early tomorrow morning. Like I said, we're going to kick it off at 8 o'clock. And we're going to say a prayer. And then we're just going to let folks intermingle and meet each other. And I want to hear some of what some of these folks have gone through, Bud Jones. I think it's important that their stories are told as well. Because there's a lot of stuff our veterans, especially African-American veterans, have gone through and are still going through, that have served or are serving in the military today. Folks think that it ain't a bed of ease now. They still fighting institutional racism in our military. So there's still a lot of stuff we got to overcome. We've had some success, but man, what if we were really given a fair shot? We see a difference in how things are done. So I want folks to come out. I'm going to be listening. I'm going to be looking to listen and hear how we've overcome. Now we've overcome now. I ain't saying it's all bad. We've had some great things happen in the military, but we also need to be able to understand the challenges. I also am looking forward to making sure folks get the help they need tomorrow. That's why we're going to have these vendors. We're calling them vendors, but they're really organizations that are going to be there to help guide veterans and help assist. And folks, the VA folks said they were really excited to be able to come knowing that there was going to be better.
All right. And there's no fee for the veterans. Everything is free, and also for the vendors. And I've had several vendors call me, and I got a couple of that I need to get back with today. So certainly I'm going to spend a portion of my day making sure they get the right information. And we will have extra tables. So if you have not been contacted back by us or we missed you, still come and show up tomorrow. And certainly we're going to get a table and sit you up and accommodate you, because that's what it's about. That's what we're trying to get done. Mr. Henderson, thank you so much for what you do. And thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Brother Jones. Thank you, Dr. Williams. And God bless y'all. God bless the city of Jackson. God bless our veterans.
Thank you. Now, one of the things I do want to say, we've talked a lot about problems this morning. We have talked about people that are offering solutions, but there's something all of us can actually do. You know, all of us can play a role in the solutions, Mr. Jones. I truly believe that. And we talked about prayer, and yes, that is certainly always powerful and always the place to start. But things such as food drives. We know we are not sure what will happen with these SNAP benefits. And even, you know, we are already, 10 days into the month. Even if they somehow magically decide to go ahead and disperse them, chances are they may not get there before Thanksgiving. So you may have families that don't have adequate food resources for the holidays. So if you are in a position to do so, we ask that you partner with organizations, whether it's your churches, your schools, those that are doing food drives, and contribute to them. A couple of extra cans of of green beans or, cranberry sauce or whatever, could mean the world to somebody that does not have. When it comes to our veterans, maybe even adopt a veteran if you're able to do so, or a single parent household. If you have extra, I remember as a child, Mr. Jones, growing up, I don't ever remember a holiday where we were scraping the barrel to eat. We always had a lot of extra food. And sometimes, just to extend an invitation to someone who does not have what you have, invite them to come in and eat with you. You never know what type of response you might get, Mr. John. You never know. You smiling over there?
I've learned. I told you, as I aged, Dr. Williams, I learned to listen. It's difficult now because people say I talk a lot too much,
and they didn't lie.
but not
they didn't lie.
So when I'm listening, then what? I mean, you got to. So I'm listening.
Yeah, you got that little smirk on your face. I can see your brain moving.
Yeah, but I've trained my mouth to be in part. So brain is moving, but the mouth is in part. So go ahead.
Let me go ahead and give my closing monologue so we can get out of here. Yes, I am.
You get your closing monologue.
All right.
And then I'm gonna hit the station ID and we're gonna take a break.
Okay.
And then we're gonna come back briefly.
All right.
Because on the other side of it, then I'm gonna let my mouth get out of part.
All right. So, family, today's conversation was about more than money. It's about the heartbeat of our community. That means, or that looks like mamas stretching meals, veterans standing tall but tired, and workers waiting for paycheck, and the believers refusing to give up. So as we go into this Veterans Day on tomorrow, I want you to remember something. When the economy stops moving, the people start hurting. But when the people start helping, the healing begins. Keep helping, keep building, keep believing. Until next time, I'm Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams, reminding you to talk money, make moves, and protect your legacy. Thank you so much, and God bless us all. And shout out to all of our veterans. Have a happy, happy Veterans Day, and let's go serve. Peace. Right there is where that outro is supposed to start playing, Mr. John. Now, Mr. Armstrong would have known that. That outro is supposed to start playing right there. When I throw up those deuces, that one.